Hi, everybody, and welcome to Mondays with Marlo. I am just thrilled that my make-believe daughter, Jennifer Энистон, is here today. Yay. She's so busy right now, and she made time for us.
Always.
And she's promoting her new movie, Cake, that I've seen, and she is fabulous. You are so good.
Oh.
You are a real dramatic actress, not just a wonderfully funny actress. And that's so exciting for all of us, to see that transition. And she's taken the time to stop over here today with Mondays with Marlo. And you know, everybody said, oh, she hasn't got time, but I'm not surprised, because that's who you are. You're loyal.
Time, yes.
You're loyal, and she was the perfect make-believe daughter on Friends.
You were the perfect make-believe mommy. You really were.
And you are exactly who you say you are.
Yeah.
She's real and she's loyal, and we're just thrilled to see you here today.
Thank
now,
you, honey.
Our Facebook fans wrote so many wonderful questions, but mostly they wrote how much they love you. So I had to take all those out because we don't have time.
I love that. I love you too. I love that. It makes me so happy.
Very, very nice. And we got some from your InStyle fans too.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So the first one is from Val. Thank you, Val.
Hi, Val.
What appealed to you about the role in Cake?
What didn't appeal to me about the role in Cake? Everything. It was such a beautifully layered, complex character. There was so much to explore. You know, it was like you know, it's like a souffle, and you were just drooling at the.
Did you know right away that you wanted to play her?
I did. I really did. And you know, it's not often that you can read a script and you can't stop reading it. You kind of put it down. You get back to it.
Right.
Could not put it down. I just fell in love with her. I fell in love with the screen. Patrick Tobin, he wrote this beautiful screenplay. It was his first screenplay. He's 50 years old.
Wow.
And he basically you know, submitted it to this writing competition. That Daniel Barnes, the director, happened to be a judge on the writing competition, and he won it. And then Daniel said, "Please, can I make this movie?"
Wow.
And he's having his own kind of like glorious moment, you know, that he can't even believe.
How great for both of you.
I know, it's so exciting.
Great.
We all feel very, you know, as if we've all jumped off of and taken a leap into something that was a risk
and you obviously
for
were the right team.
Yeah, we worked well together. So that's that, Val.
This is from Siggy. Cake is a real game changer for you. What made you feel you could do it now to take that kind of risk? That's a good question.
It's a really good question, Siggy. It's hard to understand why now, and why, you know, I don't know if 10 years ago I would be able to. I think there's something about having lived a certain amount of life that you need to sort of have lived before you can kind of dig your teeth into something like that is this dark, complex, you know? And I don't think I would have had the guts, honestly. It's something is very, after turning 40, I tell you, it's just sort of that's a turning point. You know, there's a level of like, screw it, everything is, don't sweat the small stuff.
And this from Dean.
Hi, Dean.
Marlo and Jen, how did you two meet?
Wow. Well, you and my dad knew each other.
Right.
My dad was on That Girl.
Your dad played my brother in a play before That Girl.
Oh my God! On theater.
On La Cienega. It was called Sunday in New York, and he played my brother.
That's right.
Yeah.
And did you ever meet me as a little? Was I even around? So yes, we met.
You.
So we met.
And Johnny.
Your
little brother.
My big brother. He was my older brother.
Yeah.
So God, that dates us.
Yes, and then when they were going to cast your mother, you said, "Well, Marlo, I thought
that was a no-brainer
because I looked like your father. I must look like you." Right?
Yeah. And I remember saying yes. Well, I was so excited. We couldn't believe that you actually said yes.
I was so excited.
That was so
it was
fun.
such fun.
That was
such fun. This is from Peggy.
Hi, Peggy.
To go from comedy to dramatic acting, do you use an acting teacher or an acting coach?
I use an acting coach for both.
Yeah.
And sometimes,
Me too.
and I think it's important to have someone to bounce things off of, to have someone to sort of, you know, just guide you in ways that you're not objective enough to see or watch or be able to, and I think it's extremely important. And I treat comedy and drama pretty much the same, which is just going for the truth of the moment.
That's right.
That's what makes good comedy.
That's
You're
right.
not trying to go for a joke. You just,
It's there.
life is funny.
That's right. It is.
So
that's why they call it situation comedy. Because it's a
Situations
situation.
are funny.
But a lot of people don't know how to be funny in a situation, but we won't go into that right now.
I know, we won't name names.
No. This is from Jackie. You seem more willing to confront the press now about the Brad Angelina thing. Did you go through a change that made you decide that?
Hi, who are you again? Hi, Jackie. The press has always been confronting me about everything, so
I think there's a feeling with a lot of questions like this.
Yeah.
There's a feling that for the first time you're just saying, hey, this is what it is.
Or
did you used to
enough.
annoy it? Or did it used to annoy you more and now it's like...
It's never been, because it's a made up triangle. It's a made up dramatic storyline, and so I think it's now to the point where all of us, because everybody is, everyone's happy, everyone's moved on, everyone is. It feels very silly at a certain point to keep harping on it, and I kind of just feel tired of the questions. I just think it's sort of celebrate other things and move on from something and stop, this narrative
dwelling
is boring.
Right, it is. This is from Jackie. Have
Jackie.
you ever dealt with addiction in your life, either you or someone close to you? Now, just so you know, Jackie most likely is dealing with this, and so people ask these kinds of questions because they're looking for answers. And they're not so much prying as they want to, as a need to know. And you play a woman who's addicted.
Yes.
So that's where this is coming from.
Well, yes. I have, Jackie. I do know people who have struggled with it and fought it and overcome it gorgeous, beautifully. I myself have never, my addiction, what was I have an addiction to? Maybe like eye drops?
Good-looking clothes?
Good-looking clothes, shoes. But no, but there is a lot of wonderful help out there and a lot of beautiful support. And interesting, doing one of the big takeaways I've had with this film is a lot of people approach me after these screenings saying I'm shrapnel all down the right side of my body and I am on medication constantly, I'm in chronic pain. Another woman saying it takes everything in my body to be able to get up in the morning, and it took me everything in my power to get here to this screening because I wanted to see this. And no one believes us, people shame us, people don't, they think it's, get over it, go fix it, go heal it, and
stop
it's
whining.
not, and stop whining, and it's just some sort of a weakness. And it's not that easy. It's really, there's so much more than, there's the depression of the pain, there's the emotional trauma that caused the pain. There's so much there, and people really kind of are quietly suffering. And there are places, there is help. So,
and you've helped them figure that out.
Well, hopefully this will help people.
This is from Lily. What do you think in your childhood gave you the kind of strength to deal with the curveballs you've been thrown in your life? Is there some lesson you learned that you can share with the rest of us?
I have to say, who is this? Lily. Hi, Lily. My parents' divorce was really a curveball, like in the greatest way. And getting through something like that, and it was the first time I remember thinking, oh, life is different. Life is...
How old were you?
9? I was 9. And this is painful, and this is not going away, and so there was something about having to overcome that heartbreak. It was really a big heartbreak, especially when you love your parents so much, and they were, in my opinion, really great together. And so, out of that, I think it's where my sense of humor kind of flourished, and trying to, just bring joy into the house as much as possible where there was so much sadness. So that was a big turning point for me in Curveball in terms of knowing how to, and at a young age, how to be strong when someone was weak, or, hold them up when they couldn't hold themselves up.
Right. And I bet you tried to make your mom laugh. And
oh, I did everything.
Yeah.
Circus clown.
This is from Ricky. I'm so happy you're a supporter of St. Jude.
Yeah, Ricky.
I am too. Jennifer, what has been your greatest or best memory experience with St. Jude children?
every year when I make
Yeah.
those commercials, those PSAs, I always say it's the hardest day of my life and the greatest day of my life, because you meet these little spirits, these joyful children who don't even really have an idea of what's going on. And there they are with their little Frankenstein scars and their little bald heads, and they're just playing with toys, and and you just kind of over and over again just can't understand the resilience of these little people and just that fight in a little person, you know.
It's so inspiring.
It is so inspiring.
People always say to me, well, how do you keep going? How do you keep your passion going after all these years? And I say, it's them.
Yeah.
Once you sit for 20 minutes with one of these children,
and
you're
you hug
back.
them and
I
squeeze
know.
them, and they get so excited.
I know.
Oh, I have one story. I remember, I won't tell it.
Oh,
No,
tell
but-
us, sure.
Well, this little girl, the little one. Remember, there was two sisters. The
Yes.
one that had the where she couldn't say her ahs.
Oh, you're right.
And they were saying something about, and this is where my bump is, or the bumps are.
Right.
And that was referring to the cancer.
Right.
And then she looked at me during one of the takes and she said, "Are bumps cancer?"
Oh, gosh.
I just looked, my eyes, I was like, oh, no. She was so little.
Her name was Bailey. She wrote in,
Yes,
actually.
Bailey.
Yeah, she wrote in and said how much she loved you. This is from an In Style Facebook, because you're on the cover this month.
Yes.
Gorgeous
Yes,
cover.
thanks.
Her name is Anki.
Anki? What's that short for?
I don't
Or is
know.
that your...
Yeah, I don't know. Or her nom de plume.
nom de plume.
Are you bothered by all the marriage and baby gossip, or do you really not care?
I really don't care. I mean, I feel like I've said my piece about it, and I
Yes.
feel like, I mean, that's as much as I can speak to it at
Yeah.
this point, you know?
Here's the funny thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's wondering whether you're married and are you really pregnant and all that stuff, which I went through as well because I married late. But the thing is, if you get married, they're already ready with the divorce stories.
So that'll be the next
That's the
story.
next thing. So when you see them, just walk right by. Because
Yeah.
that's, I mean,
Well, maybe then we'd rather stay engaged,
yeah,
because
that's
marriage
right.
is much more
I
optimistic than
know.
divorce.
I know, but actually,
Yeah.
when Phil and I first got married for the first 6 months, there were so many divorce stories. I mean,
Yeah.
it was awful. And I was crying and saying, why are they doing this? Our
Yeah.
marriage is like a toddler.
Yeah, it's
it can
baby.
barely walk.
Yeah.
And Phil said, never complain, never explain.
Ooh.
And Liz Smith was a very sweet woman, and she doesn't
Yes.
write so much anymore. But at the time, I had seen her, and I said, I don't know what to do about this. It's really breaking my heart. And she said, starve the story. Just starve it. So we starved it.
Starved it.
We never talked about it. We didn't answer it. We didn't
Yeah.
complain or explain. And it took about 5 years, but it
God.
went away.
So that's how long.
So anyway, so if you should ever marry, get ready for the divorce stories.
Starve it.
I know, starve it. This is from Nushin
Nushin.
from In Style magazine. Love you, Jen.
Oh, I love you, Nushin.
Tell us more about your exercise routine. How many sessions a week? How long? And what kind of workout do you prefer to do?
Oh.
This is the most important question because I want to hear this answer.
You know, honestly, it's about just moving your body every day. I mean, at least 5 days a week is great. Changing it up. I get bored really easily. I mix it up between spinning and yoga, strength training, circuit training, treadmill training. I've just been doing this.
I like that too.
Where you kind of do like 90-minute sprints and then a jog and then a walk and then a 90 minutes. Sort of change that up. And running for me is always the one that really kind of will eat away any of those, you know. And as in my past 40, it's not as easy to drop the lbs.
Yes.
Sadly. So you just have to work a little harder.
Yeah.
But stretching is always great, important to stretch. So I don't have a preference, but I do know that running is.
And you do it 5 days a week.
Yes, 4 to 5 if I'm being really.
And you have a
disciplined.
trainer?
I do.
Yeah, me too. I love a trainer.
Cecilia.
Cecilia, Jennifer, as an actor himself, has your father ever given you advice on your career?
Don't do it. Don't do it. That was his advice. The first thing, he's like, why would you want to break your heart? Why have your heart broken? Please don't break my heart having your heart broken. It's so, you know, he was sweetly just trying to protect me from the, all the possibilities of the rejection, which
is great.
It's beautiful, but of course that just gave me the sort of bug to sort of prove him wrong.
Yeah.
So that was good. But his advice is that was it. He's just extremely supportive. Oh, the villain never thinks he's a villain. He said, if you're playing a bad guy, the bad guy doesn't think he's a bad guy.
That's right.
It's like, so the villain never thinks he's a villain.
Yeah, that's
he's
right.
Just
Hitler loved his dogs.
Yes.
Do you remember those?
He did. Loved his dogs.
Right. This is from Ginger. Do you have a favorite quote or a meaningful saying that inspires you?
Oh, my God. That Marianne Williamson quote, "Don't dim your light." I'm not going to remember it. These are the things I'm terrible at.
Well, we'll look it up.
You'll look up that quote. It's a beautiful, beautiful quote.
We'll put it in.
Yes.
But it starts with "Don't dim your light."
No, that's the end of it.
Oh.
We're like, don't.
Or don't let anybody else dim your light. That kind of thing.
Don't be small or don't. Oh.
We'll find it.
You'll find it.
We'll find it. We'll put it out there. But we love to know you have one. So this is from Sutton. What was your biggest failure, and what did you learn from it? Again, I will bet that Sutton is going through something that's a failure, and wants to know. So, how do you get through it? What did you learn from a failure that you had? And do you want to say what your biggest failure was?
To be honest, I don't think I've had a failure. I mean, I have had things go directions I didn't expect them to, but I wouldn't use the word failure because I don't think anybody's. I mean, things sort of changed shape, but I don't consider it a failure.
Well, maybe
that's
how you get through it.
Yeah. You can't look at things as I'm a failure. I mean, I almost failed high school. I almost didn't make it out of high school. That was just. What did I learn from it? If you want to get out of this building, don't fail.
You better.
I got my crap together pretty quickly when there was a possibility that I was not going to graduate.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is from RL. A lot of us were disappointed you weren't nominated for an Oscar. How do you deal with disappointments? Need some tips on that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I understand.
Our audience, so you know, loves tips.
I love that.
Yeah,
I
love tips.
I hope I have a good tip for you, RL. The truth is, nothing. The win already happened in making the movie. Really, the win is in doing it, and the win is in people receiving it. A little piece of. I can't hold that up. All of that is wonderful. Honestly, it is. How can you say it's not? But it's not the end-all, be-all. The disappointment is sort of a moment, and it's your ego just feeling a little bit like, oh. But then you realize that's sort of, it's all material stuff.
Oh, my God. You changed it all. This movie, whether you got nominated or won the Oscar, you've won the big battle, which is you've completely changed the perception of your work.
Yeah.
What could be greater than that?
And that's my personal win.
That is.
So an Oscar would have been lovely to be there, but it passed pretty quickly because you have to go up to 40,000 feet and look down and then you see these are the real things that matter.
So great. This is from Larry. Hi, Larry. We don't get a lot of guys, so we're thrilled to have you, Larry. Have you ever been asked to pose in Playboy? Naturally, that's what Larry wants.
Larry.
You naughty boy.
Larry, do you go down to the Regal Beagle? I think, Stephen? Yes. I have.
And obviously you said no.
No, I didn't.
But you have the body for it, God knows. This is from Tejan.
Tejan.
If you were to write a letter to your younger self, what would be the most important thing you would say?
Oh, the most important thing I would say is trust in yourself, be who you